Welcome to Argumentation and Advocacy CC 263. My name is Spencer Kimball and I'll be your professor this summer. This online course will be hosted here on Canvas, and what we're going to do today is walk through the interface to make sure we're all on the same page as we begin the semester. So to begin, here's my name and here's my email address. Email is the best way to reach me, but I'm also available for office hours. I'm on campus most of the summer, so we can arrange for a time to meet if that is necessary. If we scroll down a little, you'll see here's the video that you're watching currently, and we're going to walk through this page and then take you through the modules. So if we continue to scroll down, you'll see our modules here, and we'll come back to this in a moment. Let's begin by taking a look at our syllabus. If you click on the syllabus link, like any other course that you've taken, it's a normal syllabus where you'll see a course description, our learning objectives, and then a description of the course work. We also have a mandatory reading for the class. That's Propaganda and Persuasion by Jowett and O'Donnell. We use the 5th edition, but if you find the 6th edition or the 4th edition, it's generally the same information. There's also an optional reading, Argumentation and Advocacy by Wines and Hastings from 1965. This is a difficult book to get your hands on, but if you can, it gives a good foundation of setting up your arguments. The general rule in this class is that assignments are due when due dates, and resubmission policy is that, like in life, there are no redos. Obviously, the easiest way to contact me is via email. And as I said, I'm available for office hours at your convenience most of the time. Deadlines are very important because we have interactive conversations and discussions online. And if not all the students participate, it will take away from the classroom experience. This is very important to discuss at this point is our class discussion ground rules. Because this class is online, we tend to have a tendency to communicate a little differently with people when we don't actually see them. When we take a course like Argumentation and Advocacy and we're studying Propaganda and Persuasion, there is going to be some topics that create more controversy than others. And as a standing rule in this class, we will all respect each other's opinions. And if you ever feel uncomfortable with me or with a colleague, please let me know immediately and we will address that situation. If during the semester you become ill, an emergency happens, or some other sorts of absence is upon you, please communicate with me. I am not aware or I'm not told of anything that's happening outside of your communication. So if you know you're going to be unavailable to go online for a week or something comes up and needs to be brought to my attention, please do so. Disability statement. It's important here that you realize as a professor, I get no additional information about the way you learn other than your name, what year, and what your major is. So if you do get extended time for testing or extended time for discussion boards, please just let me know and we will work to accommodate whatever the best learning situation is for all of you. Plagiarism is obviously something we're going to refrain from. If you have any questions, if you're presenting work that is plagiarized, please email me before submitting that work. Remember to cite your sources throughout and to keep a reference page of your sources for any of the work that you do. And to go along with our diversity statement, every student in this class will be honored and respected. And if you ever feel that that is not the case, please call obviously you can always speak to me, but if you don't feel comfortable doing that, the Office of Diversity and Inclusion, their phone number and email are down here. So now let's go back up. This is our course summary of your assignments that we will review in a moment when we go through the modules. So if you take a look here, if we come back to our home page, one thing that you might notice is that some of the areas are grayed out. Even if one of the topics is gray, it still works. It just means that there hasn't been any information put there. And I bring that up because the next part here is something called announcements. And on this tab that you'll see up here is where you'll find the announcements, but currently there are none. In the announcement section, this is where if an event occurs that I want to talk about with you, or I'm seeing a general issue with the course, I will post up and we will have opportunities to discuss these announcements. However, throughout the course, we have a discussion board that we use, and there will be a series of weekly discussions based on the topics that we're covering. One last point is if you're ever running into real difficulty accessing the page, there's a help button that should help you be proactive in your online needs. And of course, you can contact me or contact the IT directly through this link. Now, let's take a look at our modules. If we click on the modules page, you'll see that the course is set up into 6 weeks. We begin our first week of orientation right after the 4th of July, beginning on the 5th to the 9th. And there's an overview course of what I'm expecting you to do over those 4 or 5 days. Then we start getting really into the material starting July 10th. And we have a series of modules for each week, week 2, week 3, week 4, week 5, and week 6. As you can see, week 6 is a very short week with a final policy argument presentation that we're going to talk about throughout the semester, but it is completed during that last week. So let's scroll back up and walk through the modules. The first week, beginning July 5th, we would like you to access the course via Canvas, and if you've already gotten to this stage and looking at it, then we've already accomplished this goal, to navigate the course syllabus and modules, and to make your first post on the discussion board. Number 2, our objective is to understand what the requirements are of the course and what your final grade will be comprised of. So what I'd like you to do this week is to go to the course homepage, look at the syllabus, access the help, and then go to the discussion board, and we will introduce ourselves to the class and then respond to at least 2 other students' posts. And this is something that you're going to do throughout the semester. You'll make an initial post based on a topic of interest, and then you'll respond to your colleagues' posts, and we'll have a discussion that way. The next week is week 1, and here we're going to take a look at the Tolman model of argumentation and help define what propaganda is. To do the module for this week, I want you to watch 4 videos, read the first chapter of Propaganda and Persuasion, complete the quiz on the Tolman model, and then post responses to the discussion questions that will be posted on the discussion board. Now, if we click the next button, you'll see here are our videos that I would like you to watch and the chapter that I'd like you to read. Now, if we click on the next link, this is what the discussion board, what is propaganda? You will answer this question and then respond to your classmates after they have published their answers. And then we'll discuss what we think propaganda is all about. Next, we'll take a look at the Tolman model exercise. This is a quiz. You'll read over the passage, and then you'll be asked to answer a couple of questions in the quiz. The second week, we'll be taking a look at the role of public relations in our society. We'll be talking about agenda setting, and we'll identify how propaganda is used. What you need to accomplish this week is to watch some video links that I will have on the next page, read chapters 2 and 3 in Propaganda and Persuasion, complete the media analysis assignment, and then post responses to the propaganda questions on your discussion board. So if we take a look here, these are the 2 videos I'd like you, this is the video I'd like you to watch, here's an article I'd like you to read, and here's the book chapters for you to read. Then this is the discussion that we will have with your classmates. You will be analyzing by Wednesday, and then you'll eventually respond to 2 of your classmates' posts by Friday. Remember, our schedule goes mostly Monday through Sunday. So if you need to wait another day to post on a Friday on Saturday, that's okay. But it's important that we create that discussion opportunity each week by the weekend. Within week 2, you'll also be completing this media bias analysis paper. I've laid out the assignment here, and before each week, I'll discuss it with you. Here is a rubric of how you are graded on that assignment. And we move now to week 3, and we'll take a look at recognizing propaganda and advertising. We analyze propaganda and advertising, and we're still working on defining what propaganda is. What we are to do this week is to watch 2 videos, read chapter 4. We're going to complete the PSA analysis, and then we'll have a discussion about the PSA analysis on our discussion board. If you click next, we will find here's the videos to watch, here's the chapters to read. The discussion for chapter 3 will be on our PSA assignments that we're working on, and as part of our assignment, again, we'll post by Wednesday and we'll try to respond to our classmates by Friday. This is the PSA ad analysis assignment that you have. It basically walks you through the 12 steps. I will go through this with you through an announcement and as the assignments come due. And now we'll take a look at week 4's objectives. And here we're trying to learn a little bit about how to use Photoshop. So if you don't have Photoshop on your computer, please let me know and we'll look for a supplementary assignment for you. You might have to come to campus if possible, but having some basic Photoshop skills we think is very important in communication and in argumentation. So take a look here. We'll look about photography. A picture is worth 1,000 words. What does that mean? And then for this week, we have 2 video assignments, chapters to read, and we'll start conducting a social media analysis along with our discussions. And if we click on here, these are the videos that we're going to watch and a tutorial of how to use Photoshop. And our discussion for this week will be to talk about your social media analysis that you'll be doing. And here is the actual assignment for the social media analysis. Then we'll take a look at week 5, where we're going to break down the aspects of the model of crisis communication, and we'll analyze a propaganda campaign. For this week, we will read chapters 7 and 8. We'll read another article on handling crisis, and then we'll complete the crisis communication assignment with our discussion as well. Here is our readings for the week, and this is our discussion board. We'll talk about what crisis you've decided to look at, and then how it was handled based on the analysis. And here's the actual assignment that you will be looking at. Again, I'll be discussing this in more detail, but you can read it through as this juncture of the semester to give you a good outline of what we're going to be doing. In the last week, it's actually only 2 days, and it's important that we complete this assignment early, or we start working on it early, because here you're going to be using what we studied in the first week of the Tolman model of argumentation and then applying it to an actual propaganda campaign that we're seeing in real life. We're going to have a couple of videos for you to watch. You complete the assignment, and in week 6 there is no discussion board, but rather just a reflection paper of the course. And here I ask you to watch a couple of these videos to help outline what you'll be creating. And then this is your final reflection paper of what you liked and what you didn't like about taking an online class. And here is your final project, which is due at the last day of class, but as I said, this is something that you're going to work on over the last couple of weeks and then finalize it, where you'll create a video for discussing your propaganda campaign that you have watched. That is our course, CC 263, Argumentation and Advocacy. I look forward to working with you this semester. If you have any questions at any time, please email me at this email address provided. Thank you and have a good day.